How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall, and since I had some free time today, school's almost starting back up next week from today, I decided to make a little preview video for these next two games. It'll be really hard to, make a preview on both games individually, so I was like, might as well just do one for both. I'm pretty sure I'll still make a game analysis on both videos, or on both games, so two different videos. Maybe I'll just do one of the two combined, depending on how much time I have. I'm going to try to get that Delaware game up on Saturday just because I have a flight on Sunday, so it'll be really busy. If not, I'll just get it when I get back into Cruces, and we'll be back in the old room, as you guys know. For the Liberty game tomorrow, I'm going to try to get that up either tomorrow to the game or on Friday or Saturday before the Delaware game. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of a preview for that game as well. Two games that are going to be tough to win, especially on the road. So let's talk about it right now. Obviously, I'm sure you guys all know Liberty is top dogs. They're one of the best teams, if not the best team in Conference USA. They're currently first. They're picked to finish first in conference. They have not lost at home. I believe they're 7 or 8-0 at home. I think it's 8-0, 13-3 overall. They've been winning on the road as well. They beat FIU in overtime by 3. I think FIU had a chance to win it. At the end of the game, missed a layup. So really unfortunate for them. Liberty, they're a great team, but I feel like there's times they get lucky like that. They beat Kennesaw State, who was picked to finish second. They beat some good teams, even non-conference wise. They started off like 5-0, and they lost a few in a row, and they're like 8-1 their last 9 games. So they're not a team to mess around with, especially since they haven't lost a home game and we haven't won a road game. The odds are not in our favor whatsoever. I'm not sure how much they're favored by, but there's no doubt that they will be favored. I'd assume probably by double digits, hopefully like only 10 or 11. It's going to be really hard to get a win. All odds are set against us. But again, like I said last video, I hope it's kind of like that UNM game where we won on the road in a crazy environment, crazy rival game. Liberty's not really a rival. They're always intense, really close games in all sports, but Liberty just always seems to get the the edge of us and stuff. Kind of reminds me of GCU, especially in basketball. I think the Aggies are 19-6 against GCU all time. So even though there's a lot of really good games against them, so many big games that matter the most, like to win conference or just conference championship games, the Aggies usually came up on top. Kind of like what Liberty's doing to us. I really would love for the Aggies to change the narrative, and getting a win tomorrow on the road to get the first road win of the year for the team and give Liberty their first home loss would be ideal. Coach Shooting said in the one of the conferences recently that it's almost impossible to go undefeated at home no matter how good of a home team you are. Just like us, we just lost our last home game, our first one of the year against Middle Tennessee. So maybe there's a chance the Aggies do beat Liberty. Even though the records, say Liberty's 3 or 4 games better, I don't think it's that much of a difference. I feel like we have a really skilled team. What it's going to come down to for both these games is defense. We want to play pretty solid defense at home, like even against Middle Tennessee, held them just 59 points. Usually if you can hold a team to less than 60, you should be able to win, but that did not happen. And usually if you're able to score over 70 or over 80, like we did against Missouri State, you should be able to win. Just didn't go our way. Really need to play well on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a really tough game. I don't want to compare it to, Tennessee in football when the Aggies played them, because that was obviously a big difference. But Liberty's one of those teams. They're one of the best teams in G5. Again, it's pretty safe for basketball, but they're one of the best mid-major schools out there. Wouldn't be surprised if they're top one. So, with Tulsa and stuff, they're going to be tough to beat. So the biggest thing is got to limit the turnovers. Gabe and Elijah need to be smart with their shots, smart with their decision-making. I really hope that Chris Terrell is able to get in and give a chance and do the same thing. We're going to need a lot of things to go right. Jamel Jones is going to be a key factor. If he can score over 20 in an efficient way, that'll be huge. We need Juice, our second best player, to dominate, get a double-double. Need Sear Malonga to have a great game as well. If both Sear and Juice play a good game, our chances of winning skyrocket. If Sear can play like he did last game, if Juice can play like he's done in the majority of the games this year, if Jamel can hit those tough shots, try to score over 20 like he did against Western Kentucky and like he's done in other games, our chances of winning, again, skyrocket. Liberty's a good 3-point shooting team, just a good shooting team overall. They play solid defense. They have a lot of returners. They have some veteran guys that have been there for years, have the same coach they've had for a while. Going to be a really tough game to win. In Coach Shooting's first year, we beat them at home in overtime, 79-73. Then I believe we lost to them by 25. I can't remember the exact score. I think it was like 81-56. I could be wrong on that on the road. That was also on CBS Sports, I believe, or it was nationally televised. I can't remember what it was on, but I'm pretty sure it was CBS, just like this game's going to be on. Last year got swept to them, even though we played 2 pretty solid games against them, I'd say. Just couldn't get the win, unfortunately. This year, we have a new team, so even though they have some similar players and we don't, they're in the game plan, because our 2 returners, Jacoby and Gabe, have bigger roles. They're going to have to, try to guard that. And we have a bunch of other guys that can score the ball. I know our record doesn't show it. I mean, 9-6, not bad. 2-3 in conference, though. Doesn't really, testify to the talent we have. And it would really suck to fall to 2-4. But again, playing against Liberty, it's going to be really hard not to. I do believe in the guys, but if they just don't come out with the right attitude, it's not going to go well. The biggest thing is the start. The 2 games we lost on the road, They got to really, really bad starts and had to kind of work their way back into it a little bit. They had a better chance against Missouri State toward the end, but just still couldn't come away with the win. And at home, even in the game they lost to Middle Tennessee, they got to a really, really good start. So if you can get up to, I'm not expecting them to go 20-4 against Liberty, but if they can get out to a start, just not a bad start, they can get up to an average start where it's like 12-13 or 20-21 most of the way through the half, and it's like within a 5-point game or less. That is where the Aggies want to be. And then when it comes down to the clutch, with 5 minutes or less, and it's a 5-point game or less, the Aggies need to capitalize on that. They need to make shots. Can't turn over the ball. It comes down to them needing to hit a game winner or shot to send the game home to overtime, or just hit big shots in general and get big stops. That's what they need to capitalize on to get this win. I know it sounds easier said than done, but it's just something they have not been able to do. That Middle Tennessee game is a perfect example of it. Same with the game against South Alabama. I know the refs were really against us that game, but Jalen Randall had a really clean look for a three. Maybe it was a little too soon into the shot clock, but it was a good look. He just missed it. Elijah Elliott even had a tough deep three to win the game, kind of similar to that Christian Cook shot last year against Kennesaw State in the Conference USA the quarterfinals round, because we got to extend because we were top 5. Elijah did miss that shot. Even though it was a tough shot, those are shots that teams are able to hit against us, and we just need to be able to hit it against them. That will help our chances a lot. The biggest thing, too, is if you beat Liberty, you can't be too high on the win because you have a game just, really quick after. I believe it's a morning game against Delaware on the road. Delaware, I believe, is the only team, if not one of the only teams. I'm not sure what UTEP's home record is, but they're one of the only teams in conference who have a losing record at home. They're 3-5. They play against UTEP. That'll be a really good test because both those teams are right at the bottom of the conference. They have the same record overall, so it'll be really fun to see how that game goes. Kind of give us a test of what we're going to see. Obviously, the Aggies won't be able to probably watch. I don't know what time that game's at actually for the Delaware UTEP game, but I know it's the same time as the Aggies or what if I have a chance to watch it. But I'll definitely try to keep up with it. Even if it's during the Aggie game, I'll kind of keep up with both. The game is on CBS, so it'll be nice to watch the team play on national television again. But they've been losing those national televised games. The one last game was national televised at home. Ended up losing the game. It's just so hard to win on the road in conference, but maybe the Aggies can turn that around after losing at home. Middle Tennessee getting a road win, a rare run in Conference USA. Maybe the Aggies can get a rare win on the road against Liberty and I wouldn't say shock the world, but this could be a turning point. I mean, again, you look at that UNM game last year. You win that road game, really turn their season around. I know right now we have a winning record. But we do have a losing record in conference, just like how we had a 3-5 record last year. End up getting up to a winning record after losing to Texas, won 7 straight. Not saying we're going to win 7 straight right now. It's definitely a possibility. But this win would do a lot. If you can get this win against Liberty, that could really, set the table for the rest of the season. But again, you don't want to beat Liberty, who's one of the best teams in conference, if not the best. Again, they're currently the best. And then there's Delaware, who's on the lower end. But we're only a game ahead of them in conference. So it's going to be tough to beat anybody, especially with Delaware being a new team. We're going to talk about Delaware right now, but obviously Liberty being the first game that we play, it's always going to be the most important game. Really got to get that win. I mean, if you lose it, you go to Delaware to get that bounce back win. If you win it, you're on a high note. You want to get that other road win. And if you're like at 2-3 on the road, 2-2 in conference on the road, it's a lot better than not having a single win, right? The Delaware game's so hard to preview because I haven't seen much of Delaware. And obviously, the Liberty game's first. And so it really just depends on how that game goes. Again, if the Aggies win, I feel like, again, that Delaware game needs to be a win regardless. You can't lose both games. But if you beat Liberty, you got to get that Delaware win. Because you can't just beat Liberty then lose at Delaware. It's going to be a weird look for the team. If you lose to Liberty, you need to get that bounce back win. You can't fall to 2-5 in conference early on. Your chances of winning the whole thing or getting a good seed are just going to plummet. Again, they have some home games coming up after that. Against Delaware, against FIU, Missouri State. I think they have 3 straight home games, which would be huge. And I feel like for the Aggies, you got to win all of those. And it's going to be really hard to do so. But if you want to get back to where they want to be, that's going to be a big point. Last year, they were 9-6 to start the year, just like they are right now. It would suck for them to lose and have a worse record at this point than they did last year, because I do think this team is better. But you look at that team last year, they started off conference 4-0, then, lost 3 straight, then won, then, lost 3 straight after that. So they're at a point where they're only 5-6 and 1-6 in their last 7 games. So if the Aggies can just try to stack up some wins and kind of be at that similar spot where they were last year, if not higher, because they were 1 game below 500 over halfway through. And right now we're, not halfway through DCA, we're only a quarter of the way through and we're 1 game below. So it'd be nice if we can get, to above 500, try to stack some wins at the end of the season, especially those home games. Try to win as much road games as possible. Obviously, not going to be able to win all of them, but if they can afford to only lose 1 or 2 more home games at most, and then try to win, only lose 3 or 4 more road games, it's hard to say. It's a big thing. I don't want to look too much into the future. This Liberty game is just going to be a tough one. All the teams in the conference are tough, as you guys have seen so far. There's no nights off in Conference USA. Obviously, UTEPs are going to be some fun games on the road and, at home. But again, that's for the future. The biggest thing is this week. Again, for the Delaware team, the Aggies just can't overlook them. That's the biggest thing. No matter how that Liberty game goes, win or lose, we're going to still have a better record than Delaware has, regardless of how that game goes with UTEP overall. If we lose and they win, we'll have the same conference record. And if they beat us, then they could have a better record, or it could go either way. You just can't go into the game thinking it's been an easy win just because Delaware's only 5-11 on the season. It's their first year in conference. Our first year in Conference USA was a little tough too, so we know how it is. We've never seen them. They've never seen us, so it's going to be hard for them to game plan for us. It's going to be hard to game plan for them. It's a brand new team. Just like how Missouri State was on the road and they beat us. We saw how that went. And Missouri State got to a rough start to the year. So anybody can turn it around. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. I've said that so many times. But the Aggies just cannot overlook them. But they got to come out of the gates strong, early, try to build the lead and maintain it. Obviously, games or teams are going to go on runs in every game, but you got to just throw that punch back at it. So if the Aggies got to a slow start against Liberty on the road, they got to throw that punch back. Kind of like that Tulsa game, where they threw that punch back, got within 7 after being down by 22 early, but then just couldn't finish the job, ended up losing by 13. Obviously, I really don't want the Aggies to get down by 20 plus, but if it were to happen, you get back within 7, you got to try your best to just keep going, have the momentum. It's a lot harder when you're on the road. There's been some home games like that where we're able to fight back, like the Middle Tennessee game. Up by 16, down by 13, got it within 4. And then that pass from Jones to Mims just mishandled the ball, just kind of threw behind him. We can't have errors like that against any team, but especially Liberty and then Delaware. You got to be smart. They're at home. It's going to be a tough road trip. I believe yesterday they traveled the whole day, so hopefully there's no jet lag or anything. Obviously, it's a decent amount of time between the games. Not sure how the starting lineup is going to look for either game. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach continues to roll with Elijah Elliott, because I thought he played very well in his first start. Didn't do so great in his second start. I think Gabe can be solid coming off the bench. Just needs to make the right play. Don't take any dumb shots. Be smart with your decisions. Would love to see Chris Terrell get out there and try to play a little bit. Maybe even Augustine Ekwe if he's able to play. That could help us out. Sear and Juice got to continue to do their thing. Jamel's got to be our guy. If it comes down to a game-winning moment or just a big shot, we got to go to Mel. No matter how good or bad he's playing, I feel like that's the guy you got to go to. We've gone to Jalen Randall a couple times, and as much as I love Jalen, as much as I trust him, I just trust Jamel slightly more because he's our best player. That's who you want to give it to. And I feel like we've gone to Jalen and Elijah more than Mel sometimes. And that's not always by design. It's just kind of how it works sometimes. But we really got to work to get Jamel the ball when he's cooking. Last game he started the game off really good, had 7 straight points, got subbed out back in, didn't do so great. So I'm not too sure what the problem is there. But we just got to feed the hot hand. Got to get your best player the looks he can get. And I feel like he makes a lot more tough shots than open shots. But he's not like Teddy Allen where he takes totally bad shots. Teddy Allen was a bad shot taker, bad shot maker. I feel like Mel's shots he takes are just tough shots and he's able to get them to go in. So we're going to need a lot of that. We almost need to play perfect. I know there's no such thing as a perfect game. We're not going to be perfect. Liberty's not going to be perfect. Delaware's not going to be perfect. But to beat Liberty especially, you need to have as near a perfect game as possible. And to beat Delaware, you just can't get over, your head and think like, oh, we're going to beat this team that only have 5 wins. Because anybody can beat anybody on any given night. We've got a Georgia State game. We ended up winning by a lot of points, won by 19, up by 30 at one point. But they got off to a 9-2 start. So the biggest thing is just, got to get up to a good start. Got to be neutral the whole game. Play hard and well. Just try to your best to get some defensive stops. Try to play just as well as you do at home than you do on the road. Because sometimes I've talked to a lot of guys, and even I play basketball too. Sometimes winning on the road is even more sweeter because you're able to, beat all those trash talkers in the stands and all that. And we're going to have our fans that travel as well to support. It would just be great to get that road win and maybe start something like the Aggies did last year where they were able to get a lot of road wins, especially in conference. I think that's all I have for the video today. Please let me know in the comments below how you guys think these games are going to go. Do you think the Aggies are going to sweep the weekend on the road? Do you think they'll go 1-1? Do you think they're going to drop both? I'm not going to give my prediction. I'm going to let you guys do that. My biggest thing is if you can get at least one win this week against either team, obviously, if you beat Liberty, you want to try to beat Delaware too. But if they can get at least one win this week, I don't want to say I take that as a W, but it'll definitely be a lot better than being 2-5. Because if you can be 3-4, going to 3 straight home games and have a chance at winning at least 2 of those, or all of them, you have a chance to have a winning record, or at least being, right at 500. If you lose both, you go 2-5, you have to win 3 straight to be back at 500. Not saying they can't win 3 straight at home, but it's going to, not be easy to do. A lot easier to do than winning 3 straight on the road. That's the way Conference USA works. And that's why I think a lot of times too, you see a lot of spurts where we're winning a lot in a row, losing a lot in a row. Because it's like you either have 2-3 straight home games, 2 or 3 straight road games. It's not too often that we have 3 straight home games. There's been more times than not, I feel like we've had 3 straight road games. So we nice to be back at home playing the Pan Am in front of our fans, especially when the students are back. I really, really want that to help out a lot. It would just be so awesome if the Aggies can, win these 2 this week and then, win the 3 at home and be 7-3. That would be very ideal. And I don't think it's far off to say that. I know they're not playing the greatest right now, but we've seen what this team can do when they're, on the same page. But we've also seen what this team can do when they're not on the same page. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they win the next 5, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they lose more than 9 in these next 5. So we're just going to see how it all goes. Again, the most important game is that Liberty game. Got to take it one game at a time. 9-6 overall, not a bad record, but when you look at the 2-3 in conference, not where you want to be. But, again, it's going to take one game at a time, one possession at a time. They got to believe in themselves tomorrow. It's going to be a really, really hard game to get. Coach Hooten said that. The whole coaching staff needs to believe. The team needs to believe. The fans need to believe. You got to do what you got to do to get that win. I know it's going to be hard to do, but again, if you can get that win, I keep compared it to the UN game last year. That's going to do this team justice for sure. Again, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment below your predictions on this week, and I'm out.